Hey, beautiful you. I'm coming to you today speaking about something that I think is pretty profound. So, my youngest daughter told me this morning, she was just sitting there eating breakfast and she had this reflection. She said, You know, we do a lot of things the same every day. Like, there's a lot of redundancy, my word, to what we do. We eat breakfast, we go to sleep, we go to school, we go to work, we have dinner, a lot of things that we do every single day is the same. We do the same things. We brush our teeth. And I know this is an obvious statement to you. She's like, yeah, where is she going with this? But if you just think about it for a second, and the reason it hit me so was like, wow, yeah, like how do we create something that's a little bit different? How do we change things? How do we create a legacy for ourselves? How do we leave something behind? Like, we're not going to leave our breakfast crumbs behind, right? So I came up with two thoughts, almost on the spot. And the first one was, okay, changing our habits a little bit, not doing exactly the same thing every day. And by the way, brain research has shown this as well, right? I'm sure you've heard this. It's like, if you drive the same way to work every single day, try taking a different route. Try another, little take the exit before and then drive another way to work. And the reason that's so good for you is because your brain turns into autopilot when it knows what to do. So if it's been driving the same road for 1 year, 2 years, 20 years, it's turning into becoming very easy for your brain to drive that. So your brain kind of turns off and it starts focusing on other things. But if you say, okay, let me drive over here instead, let me check out this road, your brain all of a sudden is like, oh, something new is happening. We gotta turn on all the systems. Like, wake up, boop, boop. It's like now they're driving somewhere else, and now we gotta figure it out. What happens is all of a sudden your senses are activated. You're like, oh my God, look at that. There's like a squirrel over there. And oh, I never saw that store before. And oh, that tree is amazing. And look at the clouds. And that's the experience that we get when we go on a vacation, right? I mean, a lot of times we go on a vacation and it's like a wonderful experience. Probably also because we go to these really amazing places. We're not going to be like, okay, let's go nowhere, right? We want to go somewhere on vacation. And a lot of times it's different from where we used to be, which means that all of a sudden everything opens up. The brain is like, oh, okay, we're somewhere new. We're going to take in as much as we can. Your senses are activated. You can smell different things. You can sense different things. Things are different in your touch. And that's when you absorb. It's like you just absorb all that information and you're like, oh, remember that vacation? That was awesome, right? So what I would suggest is try to just change one small thing in your life. Like, if you always eat the same breakfast, try something different. If you always use the same coffee mug every morning, take a different one. Take one of the ones that are not your favorite. Try that out for a change. Drink with your left hand. Brush your teeth with your left hand. And I know this takes activity and thinking, and we're just, oh man, I forgot it again. Like, I drove the same way, or I had the same cup, or I did, took the shower that I always take. Or, it takes activity to be like, okay, I'm going to try to do something different. But it's so worth it, because you're going to notice that, oh, wow, I saw something different today just from doing this very thing, Maybe you'll see a mug back there that you haven't seen in years. You're like, oh my God, I went to college. I had this mug. Whatever, and memories will come up and you'll get activated and you'll be like, wow, I really should call so-and-so because I haven't spoken to him in such a long time. That's my first suggestion. Really start to change your habits a little bit. One thing every day, a little bit, Go with your left foot first instead of your right on the stair. The second thing is deeper. How do we change what we do every day in order to create something that maybe we can leave behind? Because a lot of things that we do, we pay our bills, we eat breakfast, we go to work, whatever we're doing, it's it's kind of a system where it's contained in itself. It's not too much output in that system. How can we create a system that we have a little bit of output where we're leaving something for the next generation? And I know this sounds like a daunting task, like what am I going to leave for the next generation, right? But it could be simple. It could be that you're a grandfather and you teach your grandchild something that you think, oh, they're never interested in this, but maybe they are. Maybe they want to know how to make something that you know how to create. Maybe they want to know how to knit. Maybe they want to know how to do this woodworking thing that you take for granted, and you're just like, oh, well, that's so easy. Yeah, but it's not easy for them, right? That's one thing, simple. Or maybe you start journaling, start writing, and put that down on paper, and it could be for someone to find later, you know? It's like, oh my God, I didn't realize she had a diary. And then there's this juice, there's this information about you all of a sudden, and it's can be contained in your close family. Or think bigger. What if you were to create a video like I'm doing now? What if you were to say, I'm gonna start, making a video about something that I want to leave behind. I have this interest. I'm really, really interested in herbs. I want to jot all that down. I want to write a book. I really do. And even if nobody reads it, I just want to create this book. And then I can hand it down to my children. I can be like, these are all the things you need to know about herbs. Or these are all the things I learned about woodwork. Huh? If we can create something that comes out of our lives, we can be a remembrance for our close ones, but maybe potentially also other people. We can affect other people in such a big way. And it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be that you become a movie star, or you have this best-selling author, or you are this journalist who's traveling the world taking these amazing interviews, or you're a photographer who's doing these beautiful pictures. It can be that, and maybe it will grow into that. But if you start thinking in those terms, like what out of the outside of the sort of habitual things that I do every single day, what can I create? What can I leave behind? How can I make something that makes the world just a little bit better? Just a little bit. Maybe it's a recipe. You have a recipe. You have this famous recipe that your grandmother created or your grandfather created, and everybody loves it. Every time you serve it, it's like, oh my God, this is so good. Maybe you start to create something beautiful about that. And you make a little folder for it, and you hand it down to a few people in your family, or maybe some friends even. They're gonna be like, wow, your lasagna is fantastic. I'm so happy that you gave this to me for my birthday. Right? Instead of going on and buying this thing, you created the beautiful maybe image in Photoshop, and you did all these things, and then you framed it. I don't know. I'm just, I'm going all over the place here, as you can tell. But what I want to suggest is there something that you can add to the library of humanity that can be there for the next generation to potentially find? That's so unique, because no one else, I can promise you, is exactly like you. And no one else will ever come here on earth being exactly like you. So what you have to offer is unique. I can't offer it. Neither can your friend, or your husband, or your wife, or your children. It's you. The uniqueness, the beautiful part of you, the puzzle piece, the fractal that is you, the drop in the water that is you. That's what's so unique about you. You are this snowflake that's unique, that's falling from the sky. Capture that. Bring it to the world. Say, hey, if you're interested, I made this. You can check it out if you want. I have goosebumps all over my body now. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. Lots of love. Namaste. Check me out for my other videos if you're interested. If you're not, no big deal. I love you so much. Create something. Give it to the world. Love.